Hello and welcome to Yoga for Athletes. For this practice, you'll need a rolled up towel or blanket and a comfortable space in your house. Thanks for joining me today and have a great practice. Once you're down on your mat, you're going to take that rolled blanket and we're going to start on our back today with the blanket underneath your shoulder blades like this. So you'll notice my head is a little bit tall, a little bit too high, so I'm going to lift up and unroll the blanket slightly so the tall part of the blanket is underneath my shoulder blades and the rest of it is going to be used as a pillow for my head. And then your arms are going to come out to your side, palms face up, just like we do in Shavasana. And then here, take a couple deep breaths in. And then slowly exhale. Deep, slow breath in. And slowly let it go. One more time, deep breath. And out. If your eyes are still open, you may go ahead and close them if you're comfortable doing so. And let your body take over your breath. Notice your body today, starting with the contact points your hips and your back have and your head has with the mat. Notice where your arms touch the floor, the mat. And then notice your space, the way the air feels on your skin. Any sounds you hear. Notice your breath. Notice your heartbeat. And then bring your attention to your mind. If your mind is still on your morning or the things you have to do this afternoon, take this time now to acknowledge those thoughts. Acknowledge each one and then set them aside. Just as you might with a to-do list. Knowing that you can come back to that later. Give your mind permission to be here, to be present on your mat and in your practice. Another deep breath. And now take a moment to acknowledge anyone who's visiting with you or participating in your practice alongside you. Now let's acknowledge this community we've created today. Though we are all separate, different spaces around Cary, North Carolina, and the United States. But in this practice, we are all connected through our movement and our breath and our shared time together. Take another deep breath here. And slowly let it go. Turn your palms to face down. Bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor or on the mat. Rock your knees to the right, back to center, and to the left. Come back to center. Leave your feet flat on your mat. Reach your arms over your head. Let them land where it's comfortable to your shoulders. So this could be wide or narrow, but let it be natural. Breathe in, opening through your chest, through your shoulders. Take another deep breath, and then slowly roll over to one side. Pause and press yourself up to seated. From here, we'll roll over onto hands and knees. So you can move your blanket or towel aside, above or behind your mat. And then once on hands and knees, wrist, elbows, shoulders in alignment. Knees underneath your hips. Take a deep breath and reach your belly towards the mat in your cow back. And then exhale, round your back into cat. Tuck your chin to your chest. Continue this cat and cow with your breath. It could be faster or slower. However you move, your inhale reaches your belly towards your mat. Your exhale rounds your back and tucks your belly towards your spine. Then we'll come back to neutral. Walk your hands one handprint forward. Inhale, pull into a modified plank. Pause here. Lift up through your belly and breathe. On your exhale, press your hips back behind you, bringing your hips on top of your legs and rest in child's pose. If it would feel better to move your knees wider, move your knees wider. Rock side to settle in. And then find a space in the middle where you can pause and rest. Your head may rest on your mat, but if you need a little more space today, stack your forearms. Rest your forehead on your forearms and breathe. We'll take 3 breaths in this space. Your first breath will be into your low back. So deep breath in, feel your pelvis, or imagine your pelvis expands and stretches away. As you exhale, let it settle back together, like the perfect fit of puzzle pieces. And now inhale. Feel your rib cage expand. Feel your ribs move away from each other. And as you exhale, let them slide back together. And then one more breath. Inhale, move your shoulder blades away from each other. And exhale, let your shoulder blades slide back together. And then once again, let your body take over your breath and wiggle side to side. Shift your weight forwards, coming out of your hips, and then sitting your hips back onto your legs. And then inhale, pull forward again. Find your hands and knees. Bring your knees back underneath your hips if you moved your knees wide. Tuck your toes under. With our toes tucked under, we're going to stretch first into our feet before we move up higher. So as athletes, we tend to get a lot of stress on our feet. We need to pay close attention to them to make sure we're stretching and to help prevent plantar fasciitis. So your toes are tucked under. You're going to take your hands and first just press your hands into the mat and back towards your hips. Shifting your weight into your feet. Pause there for a breath. Notice if this sensation is manageable. And if so, breathe. If it's already too much, shift out of it. And if you'd like a little more, continue to walk your hands and sink your weight into your feet. And this may continue in this crouched position. Or you may continue to walk your hands all the way up to your knees and then up your thighs and sit on your feet. And if you are up tall, or even if you're still crouching, breathe in to lengthen your spine. And exhale to roll your shoulders down and back, placing your shoulder blades on your rib cage. Take one more deep breath. Use the exhale to slowly move out of this, walking your hands forward. Untucking your toes and circling your ankles and wiggling your feet. And then tuck your toes under again. This time, we're going to come up to downward facing dog, but very mindfully. So first, with toes tucked under, lift up through your belly button. Contract through your pelvic floor and through your low belly. Breathe in and exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. From there, begin to pedal out your feet, alternately lifting one heel and then the other. Stretching your calves, your feet, your hamstrings. As we stretch, we also notice these spaces. If you went for a run this morning, are they a little tight now? If you've been sitting for a while, are they feeling tight? Or maybe you're feeling really loose and energetic today, or energetic really. On your next breath in, lift both heels as high as you can. Exhale, bend your knees halfway down, lengthen your spine. And then inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, press your heels towards the mat. Take another breath. Use the exhale to walk your hands back towards your feet, landing in a forward fold. Shake your head yes and no. Breathe in to lengthen your spine. And exhale to fold. Letting your head, your shoulders, your neck, your spine surrender to gravity. Slide your hands to your low legs. Inhale, flat back, long spine. And we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. So your hands are pushing back. You're lifting up through your belly. Shoulder blades rest on your rib cage. And your gaze is straight down at your mat. Breathe in and out. One more. And then inhale. As you exhale, walk your hands up your legs and slowly unwind your spine, coming to stand. Roll through your shoulders at the top. Forwards, backwards, side to side. You can stay right where you are on your mat. I'm going to turn just to face you for now. So we're moving into mountain, feet side by side, lifting up through your thighs. Lift your shoulders up to your ears. Circle them back, down, and around, placing your shoulder blades on your rib cage and palms open. Now make sure when you're standing here, you're not locking out your feet. So you're lifting through your thighs, but it's not a full lockout through your legs. With this tall spine, close your eyes. Checking in with your body once more. Noticing your breath, your heartbeat, and your energy. But also noticing spaces where you need to nurture. And spaces that are energetic and ready for a challenge. Let your eyes flutter open. Bring your hands to heart center. If you notice spaces that are ready to be challenged today, feel free to sink deeper or move a little faster. If you're nurturing something today, take your time to acknowledge that, to move slowly and gently through those spaces, being very mindful so that your practice supports where your body is right now. Let's bring our hands down to our side, roll again through your shoulders, and then breathe in, reach your arms overhead, big stretch up. As you exhale, lift up through your belly and twist to the right. One more breath in. Exhale, arms come down. Bring your hands to your hips, continue to rotate to the right. Let your chin be parallel to the floor. And turn your head a little bit more if you'd like. One more breath. And then exhale, slowly revolve back to center, letting your hands come down. Inhale, reach your arms overhead again. Exhale, lift through your belly and then revolve to the left. One more breath. Use the exhale to bring your hands down. Hands slide to your hips. Continue to twist if you'd like. Breathe into the place where you're feeling sensation. And then slowly come back to center. Roll through your shoulders, and we'll begin to move a little faster. So staying in that mountain pose, feet side by side. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart centers. You send your hips back behind you, moving into chair. In this chair, our back is long, belly lifted to support your low back. Breathe in deeply. Use the exhale to fold forward. And notice when we fold that my knees are a little bit bent. If your knees need to be really bent to support your hamstrings today, go for it. It's not at all cheating. It's actually being really mindful of your body and accepting where it is today, right now in this practice. Take a breath in, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold. Lengthen again. Exhale, fold. Shift your weight into your right foot. Lift up through your belly. Send your left knee back behind you. Coming into a lunge, but with your knee down on the mat. Walk your hands back beside your foot. Bring your hands to your knee or your thigh. And then pause. Notice what this shape feels like. Notice your hip flexor. Notice your left foot. And if it would feel better to untuck that foot, putting the top of your foot on your mat, go for it. Or keep it tucked under. And then we'll sweep our arms overhead. As you exhale, sweep your arms back, down, and around, bringing them back to your hips. Straighten your front leg, lift your toes off the mat, wiggle your toes. And then sink your right hip down to meet your left. And pause there. Notice if this is enough for today. Your hamstring might be really tight and not need any more. If you'd like more, breathe in to lengthen through your spine, and then exhale to fold forward. Take a nice stretch. And then one more. Deep breath, that is. As you exhale, come up nice and tall. Slide your foot back down to the mat. Our left toe, if it's flat, go ahead and tuck it under. We're going to prepare to come up tall, but before you do, I want you to lift up through your pelvic floor, contract your belly. We're going to press through our right foot and also through the ball of your left foot. So pause to consider how you're going to come up, and then use an inhale to power yourself up to stand. Straight left leg to start. And then exhale, press back to your left heel, keeping your legs straight or adding a little bend if your leg's asking for it. And then inhale, sweep your arms overhead, finding that high lunge. Lifting through your belly to support your back. Breathe. One more deep breath. Exhale, open to warrior two. Back foot now parallel to the back of your mat. Rib cage sitting over your pelvis. Arms long and strong and active. Look over that front middle finger. Notice how with intention you can make the rest of the space disappear. You can see your space and your hand. Or you can just see the space around you and not your hand. In sport, we do the same. We can focus on that knee that's hurting, or that really, really tired hamstring in the middle of a race or a long run. We can focus on how far we've gone, or how much more we have to go. We can look at all of it at once, or one piece at a time. It's some sort of balance that makes it work. Find that now here in this shape. Take another breath. As you exhale, let your hands come down to your hips. We're going to straighten our front leg. With hands on your hips, take your right hand or the inside of your right hand and let that find your hip crease. So legs are nice and straight here. If you tend to hyperextend your knees, so it goes back the way it was not made to go, I want you to add a little bend there. Take another breath. And then use the exhale to sink into your triangle. So starting with our baby triangle. Hands on our hips. If you want a little more traction, you're going to press your hand into your hip crease. And then stay. Or release your right hand down. Or release your left arm up. Wherever you are, your body is facing the side of your mat. Your chest is open. And you're breathing. Your gaze is in the direction that feels safe to your neck. Take another breath. Exhale, move back to warrior two as you bend your front knee and let your arms stretch wide. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, straightening both legs. Turn your toes the outside corners of your mat. As you exhale, bend knees and elbows. Sink into goddess pose. So first pausing here, just landing where your body wants to land. Knees move back behind you, shoulders, elbows move back behind you. At the same time, you're contracting your abs to zip your rib cage together and support your back through your muscles. Take another breath. Exhale. And then one more. But this time we're going to use the exhale to bring our hands to our thighs. And now sink into your hips. So your arms support you by pausing here. Or if you want to get deeper, bring your elbows down. Breathe into this space. And take 2 more breaths. As we exhale, if you brought your elbows down, bring your hands back to your thighs. Press down as you lift up. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, star. Exhale, warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift your arms up and back, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here, lift high on your heels. And then exhale, press into your heels, sinking them down towards the mat. Inhale, shift to plank. Another place where we'll play. We'll work on our focus. In plank, you're either on your hands and the balls of your feet, pressing your heels towards the back of your mat, lifting your kneecaps, pressing down through your palms. Or you can drop your knees down to the mat. In either space, you're working hard. Notice first how your body feels in this shape. Notice what's working. Notice your breath, your heartbeat, and your thoughts. And now take a moment to notice the outside. So not your body in this shape, but maybe the color of your mat. Or something outside your house. Or what kind of fun activity you have to look forward to a different time of the day. Do you feel yourself moving back into this plank? Is she ever going to let us stop? Indeed, I will. But also notice how that distraction allows us to do something hard for just a little bit longer. We are aware of this plank, the sensations it's creating in our body, the heat it's building. But also aware that the sun's shining today. That you have a run scheduled for later, or a bike ride, or some fun time with your family. This sensation is temporary. The feeling of your triceps, your belly, your glutes, your thighs burning in this plank. It's all temporary. Take another breath. Exhale, press back to child's pose and shake it out. Nice work. Come back to center. Pull forward hands and knees. Send your left foot forward. Tuck your right toes under if it's better for your right knee. Bring your hands to the top of your thigh, so we're in that low lunge. Lift up through the crown of your head. And notice your right hip flexor. On your next breath in, reach your arms overhead, big stretch up. As you exhale, bend your elbows, put them in your back pockets. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your elbows, back pockets. And your gaze could stay forward or go with your arms. Reach up, inhale. Exhale, elbows, back pockets. And then bring your hands down to your hips. Straighten your front leg, lift your toes off the mat. Drop your left hip to meet your right and notice if that is enough. Enough hamstring stretch. And if it is, you stay. If you want more, fold forward into your hip crease. Stretch. we'll take another breath. Using exhale to transition back into that lunge. So left foot now flat back on your mat. If you've untucked your toes, tuck them again. Lift up through your pelvic floor, contract your belly, and with energy and an inhale, reach up, high lunge, arms overhead right away if you'd like. Exhale, settle into this shape by pressing through your right heel, stretching more through your hip flexor, or possibly bending your right knee to support. Good. And then inhale, stretch tall. Exhale, open to warrior two. Back foot parallel, back of your mat. Arms parallel to the floor. Front knee centered over your ankle. And once again, notice how you can look over your hand at the space in front of you. And your hand disappears. Notice how you can see your hand and nothing else. And then notice how you can see them together. Your hand, the space around you. Breathe. And then inhale, reach your arm overhead, reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands to hips, straightening your front leg. Find that left hip crease. And we're gonna fold into this baby triangle. So first, spine is nice and long, big deep breath in. As you exhale, fold and stretch. Once again, checking in that knee. So if you're hyperextending, I want you to put a soft bend in that knee. Supporting your body, your tendons, your muscles, and your bones. Your chest is open to the side. And gaze is wherever it works for your neck. Release your bottom arm if you'd like, and your top. And we'll take 3 more deep breaths. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. And then inhale to star. So we reach both arms overhead, turn your toes to the back corners of your mat. Big stretch up. Exhale, bend knees and elbows into goddess, sinking into your hips. And we'll add a twist to this side. So knees are moving back, our belly is lifted, contracted to support your back. About 60-70% though. So you can still breathe comfortably. Inhale. As you exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release your hands to your thighs. Roll through your shoulders. Bring your neck, or bend your head, your chin down to your chest. Breathe. And then let's take an exhale to sink into this stretch. So either using your hands on your thighs for support, or bringing your elbows down. Pause and breathe. One more. On the exhale, press down through your feet, slowly lift up to stand. Rock through your hips, and then inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, back to your warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, drop your knees wide, wide knee child's pose as you sink back into your hips and rock side to side. And then come back to center. Take those 3 intentional breaths again. So deep breath into your hips, feeling or imagining that your hips expand. And they don't really do that. But just imagine if they did. As you exhale, imagine your femurs, your leg bones coming back into your hip sockets in that perfect spot. Inhale into your rib cage. Exhale, let your ribs fall back together. And inhale into your shoulder blades. Exhale, let them slide back together. And then rock side to side. And come back to center. As you pull forward, come to hands and knees, but then cross your ankles, roll over, have a seat on your bottom. I'm just turning to face you guys, but stay right where you are on your mat. Your feet are going to come out in front. And then from here, if you are close to a wall like I am, feel free to use the wall as well. We're going to take our right foot, cross our right ankle over our left knee. So coming into a seated figure four. Flex your foot here, help support your knee. And breathe. If you need more, bring your chest closer to your leg. If you need less, you can slide that foot further away. Be in a space where you can comfortably breathe. Feel free to close your eyes and settle into the stretch. Another breath. And then begin to wiggle out of this. So first moving your left leg further forward. And then lift your right leg. Bring it down to the mat and wiggle side to side. We'll switch to the other side. So now left leg coming over that right knee. Flex your foot. And notice if this hip needs more or less. Readjust your shape so it supports where you are today. And then once again, close your eyes and just breathe. Let your eyes flutter open, deepen your breath, and begin to wiggle out of this by walking your right foot forward, lift your left leg, wiggle side to side, drop your knees to the right and to the left. Then we're going to make our way down to our mat. So for this, make sure you have access again to your blanket. This time, you don't want a tail on it. So if you created that tail for as a pillow for your head earlier, go ahead and tuck the tail back in. So we're doing this today with a towel or a blanket, but also know this works great if you have a foam roller at home and you can use the foam roller. This is one of those anti-sitting, anti-biking and running shapes that I recommend that all my athletes do actually every day or as often as you can to help open up through your chest. So when we're biking or running or sitting at a desk all day, we're quite hunched over. So this is the anti-version of that. So we're going to end our practice with that. So you want it down lengthwise on your mat. You're going to bring the blanket or your towel directly to the base of your hips on your sacrum. And then take your time to roll down. So it's going to rest down the length of your spine. Now I have plenty of space for my head on my blanket. If I didn't, I would go ahead and add something to that, that could be your hands. So if you need another extra pillow, you could reach for that, or scoot your blanket or towel further up so that you do have a space for your head. And then from there, bring your feet flat on the floor. and pause and see how this feels. If there's anything that you need to readjust so it would make more sense for your body, meaning it would feel better, more supported, readjust. Your arms can be wide anywhere beside you, elbows bent or straight arms. And then notice if your legs are begging to straighten, and if so, let them just go out straight. Once there, your toes fall out to your side. And then close your eyes. We're going to pause here. After a few breaths, I'm going to invite you to stay or to move into a traditional Shavasana, which is just laying flat on your back, hands open at your sides, and legs out wide or knees bent, whichever feels best. So you can stay or move into that at any time. Take 3 intentional breaths. Breathing in through your nose and out through an open mouth. Breathing in energy and letting go of things that you don't need on the exhale. Here is that space. If you'd like to roll off of your blanket or towel, go for it. Moving flat on your back. But I encourage you, if the blanket or towel feels great, to just stay right where you are. And we'll rest for a bit longer. Deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, wrists, and ankles. Stretch your arms over your head. Take a morning stretch. And as you exhale, roll to one side. Pause there. And then press yourself up to seated. As you come to seated, sit tall. Bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Take a moment to acknowledge your practice. To be proud of yourself for taking this time for you today. Notice how your body feels. Thank you all for coming, for sharing this practice with me. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.